Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for joining me for another monthly net worth update. Today, we're doing a wrap up for 2023. We're going to be reviewing goals from the beginning of the year, matching them up with how I've done throughout 2023. So let's go ahead and jump right into the numbers. My net worth at the end of November was $125,310. The equity that I currently have in the condo I own back in Calgary sits at $54,861. That is an increase from November of $451. My RRSP, or Registered Retirement Savings Plan, sits at $52,434. That is an increase from November of $1,763. All of those gains are just coming from the market, and I'm so happy to see that the market's been doing so well in the last month. My DCPP, or Defined Contribution Pension Plan, left over from a previous job, sits at $3,827. That's an increase from November of $126. My TFSA is at $9,053. This is a decrease from November of $1,135. And we're going to talk about why in just a minute. The vehicle that I own with my partner in New Zealand is still valued at $1,500, and my cash account sits at a balance of $3,180. That is a decrease from November of $1,660. And that brings our grand total net worth for December 2023, the last month of the year, to $124,855. That is a slight decrease from November of just $455. Like I mentioned, the markets have been doing so well in December, and although I didn't have the highest income this month, I've been able to maintain a pretty decent net worth to end off the year. So let's go ahead and jump into income for December. I made $500 in profit from my rental property. I also brought in about 205 Canadian dollars in YouTube AdSense income and $100 from my Brim credit card point system. So if you don't know, I have a whole video on the Brim MasterCard, which is the best Canadian travel credit card that has no foreign transaction fee. I'll leave my little code down here below if you're interested in joining. How that works and how I make money from that is I have a buddy code, which I'll put right here. And if you sign up for a credit card, you get $10 in points and I get 20. And I've made over $700 this year alone in credit card points, which is incredible. Thank you so much if you are one of the ones who signed up for one of those cards, because it's helping me pay for my expenses this year. I also made about $523 at my hop farm job. So that takes our total income for December 2023 to $1,328. And if you haven't seen these videos before, all of these figures are in Canadian dollars. So you can see that I didn't make a whole lot of money in December. I had the same expenses, if not a little bit higher, because we were traveling. But I'm happy to see that the markets have done so well that it's pretty much covered all of that. Now we're going to jump into comparing all of these totals to January 2023, when we first really moved to New Zealand, what my net worth was, what my goals were, how I've done throughout the year. Let's get into it. To my surprise, my net worth at the beginning of the year in January was $123,250. So that is lower than it is right now, even though I really haven't worked in the last year. It's an increase of $1,605. That blows my mind. I have not gone through my financials to figure out like how much I've actually spent this year, but it's definitely more than I've made. I've probably only worked about 6 months out of the last year. The first goal that I set for myself in 2023 at the beginning of the year was to get monetized on YouTube. And thank you so much to all of you, because you guys made that happen in April this year. We got monetized, and thank you so much to everyone who has been with me from the beginning or who has joined me recently. Really appreciate it. It does make me a little bit of income every month, and I love making these videos. So I just wanted to give you guys the biggest thank you to being here and supporting this channel. My second goal for the year was to save 5,000 Canadian dollars. I wasn't really able to do this, although you can see my net worth did go up a little bit. But throughout the year, I've been saving and then spending it pretty much right away on travel. So I'm not too bummed out that I didn't make this happen. It was a pretty lofty goal to have, considering this entire year has been travel and mainly spending money. So I'm okay that we didn't get this one. My third goal was movement, to maintain movement, to keep physical activity up. And if you guys don't know, I had a physical job when I first moved to New Zealand in a brewery. I also work at a hop farm now. So that's definitely worked out for me. It's been keeping me in shape, keeping me on my feet and moving around. I try to go for daily walks as well as mixing in a few longer hikes here and there. So thumbs up to that. I think I've done really well this year with movement. The fourth and final goal I had on this list for the year was to do more. Going out, being social, meeting people, living in a new country with my partner, it's really challenged us to get out and meet people and do all these social things that we wouldn't normally be doing at home with strangers. We were able to join a few meetup groups and met some really amazing people. And I think it's been a really good year for us with getting out and doing things. Like I mentioned, we've been traveling so much and we've been doing so much, so many incredible adventures. I think I did a really good job of doing more this year without obsessing too much about how much things cost. I've definitely had to let go of a lot of control issues around money this year. I do still check my accounts pretty frequently, like probably at least once a day, but I'm more willing to spend money, especially on experiences and things like travel. Now let's get into my 2024 goals. So these are not going to be too crazy. I don't have any wild financial goals simply because I don't really know what the future holds. We're going to be traveling a little bit coming up, which I have some exciting news for you in terms of travel. The main goal is to make the best of our remaining travels. So let's talk about what's upcoming for us. We have Donovan's dad and stepmom coming to visit us in January. So we're going to be doing a South Island road trip with them, I think over the course of a week and a little bit. Can't wait for that. We're going to go and do a whole tour. And although we've been to a lot of the places on the South Island, it's going to be really exciting to go back and do it as if we were actually traveling here in a limited amount of time because they only have a couple of weeks with us. So we're going to show them as much as we possibly can. Super looking forward to that. The second trip is Australia. You've heard me talk about this a few times. We've been hemming and hawing about going, about spending the money to get over there, if we're going to go while we're in New Zealand or if we're going to go right after New Zealand. We are going to be going over there probably at the end of March or early April to go and just explore. I don't know how much time we're going to have there. I'm hoping we have at least a week. There's only a few things I really want to see in Australia, including the Barrier Reef and Sydney. So we might just end up like flying within the country to see these things if we have a limited amount of time. I do think if I end up really loving Australia that we're going to be back in the future and we'll probably spend quite a bit more time there down the road. But we will definitely go there and at least get a little taste before we go home to Canada. And the next trip is the one that I am most excited for. We just booked a Trans-Pacific cruise going from Sydney to Hawaii. That's going to be our route home. We're going to end up in Hawaii over the course of 16 nights and then hop on a flight from Hawaii to Calgary. So we have officially booked our way home. We are officially leaving in mid-April. Sad to say that we are leaving the New Zealand chapter behind, but we do still have a few months in this country to explore and get the absolute most out of it that we can. The second goal I have on this list is to get settled. So we're going to be moving overseas again. Although we are moving back to our home country, we still need to do things like find jobs. We need to find an apartment. We need to get all the furnishings we need for that apartment. But it's going to be a lot of work. I mean, moving anywhere, moving even within the same city can be very stressful, let alone moving across the world. And the third and last goal I have for 2024 is, again, to save 5,000 Canadian dollars. I am bringing this goal over from 2023 because I want to save up a little bit. I want to be able to travel in 2025, 2026. It's kind of exciting, but kind of scary not knowing what the future holds. But I think it's going to be an amazing year and I'm super excited for 2024. And now that we're done with that, let's get into some life updates to wrap the video up. The biggest news is that we booked that trip back to Canada, so I'm super excited to bring you guys along. We'll both be filming and documenting that whole experience. I have never been on a cruise before, and I'm super excited. I've always been curious about cruises, but was never really sure what was involved. The itinerary looks amazing. We're going to be stopping in, I think, 6 different countries. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be knocking off a few places off my bucket list that I honestly thought I would never get to, including Fiji and Hawaii. And that means it's going to be a pretty expensive few months coming up. with all this travel, with Donovan's parents coming to visit, going to Australia, and then going on this cruise. It's going to be a little expensive, so I definitely expect my net worth to be going down quite a bit in the next few months. Hopefully the markets keep going and catch up with my expenses, but I fully believe that I will be underneath $120,000 net worth by the time we end up back in Canada, which I'm totally fine with because, as you saw earlier, my net worth is a little bit higher than it was in January before we actually moved here. So fingers crossed that that works out and we don't have some kind of massive crash. That would hurt. That would hurt a little bit. Other than that, we've just been settled in Nelson. We have a lot of content coming up in the area. I feel like I haven't really shared a whole lot about living in Nelson, but I'm definitely planning on some incredible videos coming up to show you guys this region. It's now right into summer and the weather is incredible. It's getting hot. We're going out and swimming in the sea. We're doing all of the amazing summer things in New Zealand and super excited to bring you guys along for all of those adventures. And thank you so much for being here and for making 2023 such an incredible year. I think this has been one of the best years of my life, honestly. Hitting some incredible dreams and making things happen. And it's really all thanks to you guys for coming along and helping myself and Donovan out on this journey and joining us for all the incredible things and giving us all these amazing suggestions. We always love when you guys tell us things we should do in New Zealand or anywhere, things we should check out. Super appreciate all the support. And I can't wait to see you guys in 2024. I hope you all have an incredible New Year's and are looking forward to the new year. If you're having a rough year or you had a bad year, I'm sending you all the love I can to have an amazing 2024. So we'll see you guys really soon in the new year. Bye.